First thing we want to do is worry about access. We're going to be concerned with access to the site, access to the equipment. Unauthorized access means we're looking at the intruder profile. Didn't we do this earlier when we were looking at system design considerations? This is another offset or subset of that. We want to look at what type of intruder is coming into the site. What we want to do is determine who's going to come in our site and how are they going to come in the site. Once we've got that nailed down, we want to determine who's supposed to be on the site, when are they supposed to be there, and what are they doing when they're on site. This includes gardeners, landscapers, the people that are going to take a weed whacker and walk around the fence and beat the crap out of it all the way around your fence line and create a bunch of nuisance issues. If we know they're supposed to be there, we can plan accordingly. So this, again, plays into the site security level, whether it's a high, medium, or low security, and then what detection criteria you may be looking for. Some people it is mandated, they have a volumetric detection. That immediately eliminates a fence sensor. Don't even need to look at it because it's a line sensor. A volumetric detector is either going to be a microwave or a buried cable system. All of these things play into the system design. If there's buildings that are attached to the fence line, then we're going to maybe use some different technology to bring that sensors up to the building and even include sensors up and over the walls and the roof of the building. I'm going to run through some quick different types of installations so that we can get a little better view and maybe expand on this a little bit. So here's some applications of maybe some real sites so you can kind of see how people do this in the real world. This would be a 3-processor system. We're looking around the perimeter. Here's a basic outline of what a block diagram would look like for that kind of configuration. These are things that we provide. This is something that one of our documents that our guy, it says Tom Gibbons down there, had provided to this customer when we were looking at doing a system design and a quote. These are things that we help you with. If you guys have a drawing of the site, or if you have an address and we can look at Google Earth, we can grab this screenshot, we can draw the systems around the perimeter, and we can lay it out for you and say, we recommend that you put a processor here and a link unit here. We recommend that you use this type of equipment at this location. And on this one, it made sense to put a microwave on the roof. I'm still trying to figure out why.
Yeah, it's sort of out there.
Everybody asked me about this one. Why is that microwave on the roof? What are they protecting? And my question, I just say, yeah, it's up there.
There must have been some specific.
So something up here needed to be protected. So there we go. Next, here's another example of something we might put together. This is showing the hard yellow line is the recommended, and then we have an alternate route here. And so we can lay these things out in optional formats and in optional ways and help you better understand what you're working with. Some other examples for some industrial sites. This one I really like. We got some transceivers around a port, which we actually did this at a shipping terminal overseas. They had a cargo area where cargo ships would pull up, and they had to go out there and actually get security guards to maintain a smoking area on the pier. And what we did was we got some of these transceivers out here, some rapid deploy units. They could go out there and actually cordon off a security area on the pier with just some equipment. They didn't have to worry about putting people out there and paying a guard to stand out there for this amount of time. So they buy the equipment once, they put it out there whenever a ship comes in. The employees can get off. They can go on the pier. They're not worried about customs issues. Because overseas, and when you're talking about international waters and shipping, customs issues are the problem. So we've got some rooftop microwaves in conjunction with a fence-mounted sensor around this area. We're showing combined sensor technology on the outer perimeter. It's very easy to apply a fence sensor micropoint to and a buried cable sensor microtrack to next to each other and then correlate the zones. So if someone crosses the fence and then they cross the buried cable, that can all be one zone, even though it's multiple technologies, if it's within the same area. If they cross the fence and then run over and then go through the zone over there, then you could show 2 zones on there or multiple zones on there. This one, permanent fence fixture, and then they have other equipment that may get stored out here. And what we're looking at here is the fence is always active, but maybe some high-level helicopters or other military gear gets put out here. They take those rapid deployment units, they rapidly deploy them around that perimeter, and now we actually have good security around this site, around where the assets are as they're there in the interim. Something I haven't mentioned yet, we haven't really talked about, is a stop bar application. Do you guys know what stop bars are at airports? A stop bar is used in this little area right here. That's what the black and yellow lines are. If you're ever on an airplane and you're taxiing out to the runways, you may notice the plane starts and stops. And you may notice it'll turn, it'll go, and it'll stop. Well, these stop bars are sensors in the ground, and it's for ground traffic control. They are red light and green light, go, no go. If one airplane is crossing over here, you don't want another airplane taxiing out to the runway to bump into them. Believe it or not, if they didn't have these stop lights, they would. So when an airplane's over here, this light's red, the plane pulls up and stops. Just like traffic signals like you'd use on the roadway. They dig into the ground and they put these ground loops in there. It's an inductive loop. Well, we manufacture a microwave stop bar that can shoot over the ground there. So you're not worried about ground maintenance. You're not worried about the ground being torn up and having to seal and all that other stuff. We use microwaves out there. It's in a specific stop bar sensor. And whenever a plane comes through there, it activates that sensor, which in turn activates the lights around the perimeter and helps with ground traffic control. So far we've talked about just a small site. We've looked at a couple really small sites. What about a really big site? In this case, that's what we're looking at here. Processor link unit, processor link unit, processor link unit, all the way around the perimeter here. Each cable has a maximum length of 220 meters. 200 meter between processor to processor, or processor to link unit, and however long your perimeter is, we just keep adding on to it. So it doesn't matter if you have a 1,000-foot perimeter, it doesn't matter if you have a 10,000-foot perimeter. You can use the fence sensor to cover that area. And then, of course, correction site applications. You guys fully understand this one. I love how neat and clean prison perimeters are. They're so great. You guys have great fences, you have great clear zones. It's in comparison to Bob's Boat Yard or the scrap yard down the road. This is beautiful. So just showing some options here, combining technology, et cetera, et cetera. All emphasizing that we can support you with system planning and technical support. We can put together drawings for you. We can modify your drawings if you've already put something together. If you don't want us to modify your drawings but just want us to review what you're working on, always send it over. Myself, Jeff, Tom Gibbons. We've also got two guys at the factory, Ramon Barajas and Jonathan Renteria. All of us are available to review and assist. And we do all of this at no cost. Provide drawings, review your drawings, modify drawings, provide quote, equipment list, base materials. We can come out to the site and do demonstrations. So if you're having difficulty or just want to verify, let us know. We're glad to help.